Hey guys, Wendell Kimbrough here, wendellk.com. I got a hymn for you today called Great is Thy Faithfulness. It's one of the great hymns of the 20th century. I'm going to play it, and then if you stick around, I'll teach you how to play it at the end. Thanks for watching. Great is thy faithfulness, O God my Father. There is no shadow of turning with thee. Thou changest not, thy compassions they fail not. As thou hast been, thou forever wilt be. Great is thy faithfulness, great is thy faithfulness. Morning by morning, new mercies I see. All I have needed, thy hand hath provided. Great is thy faithfulness, Lord, unto me. Summer and winter and springtime and harvest, sun, moon, and stars in their courses above, join with all nature in manifold witness to thy great faithfulness, mercy, and love. Great is thy faithfulness, great is thy faithfulness. Morning by morning, new mercies I see. All I have needed, thy hand hath provided. Great is thy faithfulness, Lord, unto me. Pardon for sin and a peace that endureth, thine own dear presence to cheer and to guide, strength for today and bright hope toward tomorrow. Blessings all mine with 10,000 beside. Great is thy faithfulness, great is thy faithfulness. Morning by morning, new mercies I see. All I have needed, thy hands have provided. Great is thy faithfulness, Lord, unto me. So there you go, guys. There's Great is Thy Faithfulness. I'm going to walk you through how I play it. If you click below in the description, there is a chord chart you can download. And you can follow along with me. I'm playing this in the key of C. I'm going to walk through the chords, and then I'll talk a little bit about the strum pattern. A lot of chords in this one, and particularly to do this song right, or to do it in a way that'll feel authentic to people who grew up singing it from a hymnal, you're going to have to learn a diminished chord if you don't already have one in your repertoire. This is the shape I like for a diminished chord, and I'll walk you through that a little more when I get to it. But let's just start from the top. So, great is thy faithfulness. So start out with a C major chord, and then an F major 7. Right. So the way I play an F major 7 is I play an F like you'd see it in a chord book, except I've got my thumb over the top, and then you can't really see it, but underneath here, this bottom E string is ringing out. That's what makes it the major 7. So, see, great is thy faithfulness. All right, and then a G7. Oh God, my Father. That's a C sus to a C. Okay, but let's go back to that G7 for a second. So, the way I like to play my G7 is I like to put the 7, which is the F note, a little lower in the chord. So the way you'd see a G7 in a chord book would be like this, right? But that puts the 7, the dominant, way up here at the top of the chord, so it just kind of sticks out like a sore thumb. I want it to feel a little smoother, so I put the F here instead of down here. Does that make sense? So here's the way I'm playing that. It's like if you took an A7 shape and just slid everything up a fret. So that's my middle finger and my ring finger on the D string and the B string. And then I'm thumbing over right here, and also with my thumb, I'm muting the second string. So there's my G7. All right. G7, that's how I like to play it. And then back to a C. Oh God, my, and this isn't in the chart, but the way I hear it, it wants a C suspension. Father, just kind of follows the melody a little bit. There's an F, no shadow, C over E. So that's a C, but instead of the way I typically play it, which would be to put my, get this G up here on top, I'm letting that top string ring open. Shadow of turning, D7. Straight from a chord book. You can play it this way, or sometimes I'll come up here and I'll play a C7, just slid up 2 frets. Turning with thee, and then to a G, standard G. Thou, G7, changest not, C, thy F, C. Okay, and then here's where I do a little walk up. Compassions, they fail not. Passions, they fail not. I wrote those as C over D, C over E, and then F. But really what I'm doing is I'm just playing a C chord, but I'm changing what I pick, the string that I pick. So I'm going C, so I'm hitting this C string on the A, the C, which is the A string fretted on the 3rd fret. And then I'm hitting the open D, but I'm keeping the rest of my C chord intact. So I'm going C, D, E, F, right? Does that make sense? Just to get that little walk up. So let me play that for you one more time. So, thou changest not, thy compassions, they fail not. So there you go. Just kind of creates a little movement. And if you had a bass player playing with you, he would do those notes to create that walk up. All right, so fail not, F major 7 again, and then here's the diminished chord. As thou hast been, to a C. So that C diminished resolves to a C. Let's talk about how to play that C diminished. So I'm starting with my middle finger, putting it on the 3rd fret, and then below that, I'm putting down my ring finger on the the D string on the 4th fret and my pinky on the same fret on the B string. And then back behind my chord on the 2nd fret, I'm putting my index finger on the G string. So there's my diminished chord. This is, it's not a shape most people learn when they're starting out on guitar, and honestly, a lot of worship songs, you don't need it. But to do this song authentically, you gotta do this diminished chord, guys. If you got somebody in your congregation who grew up singing this hymn out of a hymnal, and you do this song without the diminished, it's just not going to sound right to them. And I'm somebody that grew up singing it from a hymnal, and it's one of the songs that forced me to learn a diminished chord. So here you go. So here's that diminished chord, and I would just practice slapping it onto the neck, all intact. Just work on doing that. Because it comes quickly in this song, and you got to be able to go to it pretty quickly. So practice that diminished chord, you'll get it. So the other great thing about the diminished chord is you can just slide it up, and you've got diminished chords all up and down the neck. So once you learn one diminished chord shape, you really can play any diminished chord. You just got to put it in the right place on the neck. So keep that in mind. Okay, so as thou hast been to the C, thou forever, G7 again, will be C. All right, so that gets you through the verses and then the chorus. Let's go to the chorus. Great is, so just starting on a G, a standard G. Great is thy faithfulness. Now this is where I'm suspending the C. And the difference between a C and a C suspended is just putting your pinky down right here on the D string on the 3rd fret. Faithfulness, great is thy faithfulness, faithfulness. Great is A7, straight out of a chord book. Great is thy faithfulness, D minor. Morning, G7 by morning, C, and then a very quick diminished. New mercies, D7, G. So that's C diminished, G, D7, G. And that again is why you got to have that diminished shape pretty quick on your fingers. Morning by morning, new mercies I see. And then G7, all I have needed, C, thy F hand hath provided. Just like in the verses, that little walk up. And then great is thy faithfulness, so C diminished, C, Lord, G7 to me, C. So there are your chords. Feel free to ask me any questions you've got about this, but I think between this and what you can find just looking up chord shapes online, that'll give you all the chords you need for the song. And then a little bit about the right hand. This song is not really, there's not like a steady, in my mind, there's not like a steady like drum beat behind this song. You're kind of just feeling your way through it. And there are points where you're going to want to speed up a little bit and points where you're going to want to slow down just a touch. If I had to break down the strum down to just a simple pattern, it's kind of down, up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, down. Great is thy faithfulness, O God, my Father. There is no shadow of turning with thee. Keep it somewhat slow, and that's really about it. There are a number of different ways you could do the right hand on this. You could finger pick this one. You could kind of do something like that. But usually, if I'm leading a congregation and singing, I'm gonna use the pick to give it a little more oomph. So there you have it, guys. There's my version, at least, of "Great Is Thy Faithfulness." Hope you have a great time learning this song, playing it for your congregation. And if you like this video, please subscribe. I'd love to keep in touch, let you know when I've got new videos coming out. And I'm trying to post every week. So hit that subscribe button, tune in, stay in touch, and let me know what songs of mine or hymns you would like to hear arranged on the guitar. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
Great is thy faithfulness. Great is thy